So I'm making this video because I feel like there has been some injustice going on. And I don't feel heard. So I feel like tagging the National Barber Board of Association and the Mississippi Barber Board of Association will bring awareness to what's going on, because I've been calling people all morning and I'm just not getting the level of accountability and responsibility that I feel like someone should have in such a high business professional environment. Let me give you a little backstory on what's going on. So I finished school sometime last year, and I was scheduled to come back. Well, first of all, they told me I passed. Let's deal with that first, right? Then about a week or two later, I received notification that I didn't pass. And I said, well, ma'am, that don't sound right, and I ain't trying to be cocky, but help me understand what I failed. So they sent me a list of stuff that I failed. One of the things was sanitation and gloves. Okay? Now, if anybody know me, and I know this ain't a personal thing, but y'all know good and got doggone well, I'm clean, and I have got doggone gloves on. Don't play with me like that. Cool. The other thing was the taper haircut and the color. So I couldn't get the information I needed from one source, so I actually called up to the barber board people, right? Now, this is during the time where the barber board is merging with the cosmetology board. Now, I'm well aware that we are the first people that y'all are testing. So I knew that there was going to be some chaos here because y'all are disorganized. I knew that when I walk in, because I'm a pretty organized person. So I let all that slide. Y'all fumbling around, whispering, trying to figure out what y'all need to do. I let y'all have that. I didn't say anything. Cool. Took the test. Called up there. I said, could you connect me with the person that graded me? She was like, what's going on? I said, well, I'm not trying to be cocky. I'm really not. But the results that you sent me, and you probably heard this before, I know for a fact they don't apply to me. They were like, well, what do you mean? I said, ma'am, you said I didn't have no gloves on. I said, my case is still packed. I can send you a picture. There's no gloves in my pack. I packed the case specifically to the requirements on the list. And I even checked it off as I went. There's no gloves left in my box. Where my gloves at if I didn't have them on? Do you think I just passed them to some random strangers as I was leaving? She was like, oh, well, let me check. What you gonna check? The trash can? Cool. Go check. I don't know what she checked, but she came back and was like, oh, she'll give you the points for that. She also, you magically remembered I had gloves on now that I called and got on you. Cool. Let's move on to the sanitation. I said, ma'am, once again, I'm not trying to be funny, but the stuff that you listed for me, the guy next to me was actually doing. So I don't know if it was a numerical error or like the way that they had the station set up. She literally said, y'all equipment is blocking the numbers and I'm getting confused. I heard you say that. And you think I'm going to let you just grade me according to something I know for a fact wasn't me. Cool. So they marked that off. So now we have the male taper and the color. The directions of failure literally said there was no hair on the floor. Well, here's the thing. The male taper, a taper, for those of you who don't know, a taper is right here, and in the back right here. Okay? The client that I bought, I had just cut his hair a week before that. I did the taper because to my understanding, that's what you were looking for. If I would have known you wanted to hair on the floor, I would have took the doggone clippers and cut mine and sprinkled it on the floor. Cool, I'll give you that. So you need me to come up here and put some hair on the floor. No problem. I'll give you that. And the color, I did the color on the mannequin, but it said I didn't pull the color all the way through to the end. It bothered me, but I'm going to let you have that. Cool. Fast forward. Had to pay another $55. They didn't send me a letter. They did not send me a letter. And now I got a screenshot from a letter they sent to the school. The screenshot only said the date the time and my name and location. Be here. Cool. So we pull up this morning. Got my male model here. We both took out work. Okay. Drove 2 hours and some change to Jackson. So we get in there. We setting up. The lady said she overheard one of the other students talking about. He said, "I done been up here 3 times." I said, "What? Like what did you fail?" He named 1 or 2 things, and we oversaw the lady looking at him. So apparently she felt the way about it. I said, "Okay." She then walks out in her most chest poked out way and says, "Oh, I just need to say something. Yeah, that's how she sounded in my head. I just need to say something. If you're not prepared to do the entire practical, you need to pack up and leave." I said, hold on. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, you have to do the entire practical again. You're not just coming to do what you failed. Okay. 90% of people in there start saying, "Well, we didn't know that." Well, yeah, it was communicated. To who? So then 2 of her subordinates, because apparently they wouldn't at level to talk some sense into her, was whispering to her, I guess, "Hey, like, what's happening?" She then gets on the phone and walks away from the subordinates and walks into the back and then come back and like, "Yeah, y'all gotta leave. Help us understand." So we packed up and left. And it just don't sit well with me. I'm big on, like, you gonna talk to me. I said, "I'm sorry. Before I make my departure, could you help me get confidence in the future communication? Because the previous ego that you have about the communication, that it was communicated, it was sent, and we should know, that clearly isn't the case here because you just lost 90% of the students here." She was like, "Well, we'll let you know." I can't leave with just, "I'll let you know," because you thought you let me know the first time, and that clearly wasn't the case. So, what can you give me today that would solidify my next testing date? She said, "We'll test again on the 24th. Cool. Walks away, and it hits me. You ain't give me no time. So we sat in the lobby. Now, we got a whole boycott in the lobby. Because not only the school that I went to, other schools didn't have a clue about that either. It was 2 people left in there. She came out. I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. You didn't give us a date." She said, "We'll let you know." No. Because letting me know is what got us in the situation we in now. So you need to give me a specific date. Because I'm not understanding what's going on. I done took off work and drove 2.5 hours. I got this man taking off work. We got families to feed. And there's not accountability being taken for the miscommunication. But now you want me to have confidence in the level of future communication that you didn't have in the past. No, ma'am. She then kind of just, we'll let you know. Cool. Sat down. I need to talk to who over her. So there was some very nice receptionists at the front desk. They was informing us as well. They had no clue what she just said. So the schools ain't got no clue what that lady's saying. The receptionists ain't got no clue what that lady's saying. The instructors ain't got no clue what that lady's saying. She the only one that got a clue. So we done called everybody, called up to the something of the director. Blah. I don't really do title. I don't care what you got going. Just tell me what's going on, right? So the lady says, "Well, it was on the website. Well, first of all, ma'am, I didn't know I had no website. Like, what? When was I instructed to a website?" Then I said, "Well, here's the thing." I said, "If that was the case, I can see if the school that I went to was the only school that was confused. Could you help me understand how multiple schools had the same misunderstanding? When and where is the accountability for failure to communicate going to happen on y'all end?" Well, it was also sent in a letter. I said, "Well, what letter?" She said, "You didn't get a letter?" I said, "Ma'am, I ain't trying to be funny, but there's no way in the world I would have took out work, had this man taking out work, packed a bag to come do this 4-hour process again, and only have what I thought I failed." I said, "That is asinine." "Oh, I understand." I said, "Ma'am, this is very discouraging. Because help me understand what sense it make for me to come back up here and do all this anyway. First of all, if you want some hair on the floor, I got some hair to put on the floor. and pulling color to the end. Man, I'm not going to be doing no color, no way. Cool. So I called somebody who's somebody and somebody. And she basically said, well, moving forward, we will see what we can do on our end to prevent the level of miscommunication moving forward. Well, here's the thing. That lady is very rude, first of all. And I have a problem with condescending ignorance. I don't have a problem if you're smart and you can communicate well. I need to get on over to the side because I'm going to be here for a minute. I don't have a problem with you being condescending if you know how to communicate and you're smart. I got no problem with that. But the level of ignorance, because first of all, your own instructors were clearly confused. And it seems as though y'all are blaming... They begging her? They trying to get in? It seems as though they're blaming the students for the miscommunication that clearly had absolutely nothing to do with us at all. And that's the part that don't sit well with me. Right? And then I said, well, ma'am, what sense do it make to come up here and have people spend 4 hours to redo everything on this practical when you can take 5 to 10 minutes to just have us to do the specific parts? Well, we're trying to get it consistent across the board. Consistent to what? Logging hours? Because on my end, and I get that my end at the only end, but the other people's end too, that don't make no sense. You clearly see that I know how to do this other stuff because there's a check mark on all these boxes except these 2 things. And you really gonna make me sit here and do all this over again. And I just had to get that off my chest. And I hope y'all share this for me because I need the barber board and the cosmetology board that I tagged in this to see this too. All 26 of y'all watching, please share this for me. If you ain't never done nothing for Adrian Powe, could you please share this for Adrian Powe? Because I'll be willing to eat this if it was a my school thing, but every school in it, and I'm pretty sure the next group of people coming in gonna have the same problem. And I need accountability and responsibility on the behalf of a national governed organization. You could have easily said, well, hey, y'all, that test was the first test done when we merged the boards and we miscommunicated. Or we didn't properly get that information out there, or there was a disconnect somewhere, and we'll let y'all go ahead since y'all are up here today, because that's the way you can meet in the middle with your consumers, right? But at this point, you're literally putting stumbling blocks in the ways of people who are already struggling to get this done anyway. Help me understand. That lady said there was only 2 people in that group that passed in October. And I want to talk to I want to do an interview with them. How did those 2 people pass? Because apparently y'all was looking for reason to fail people to collect more money. That ain't right. This whole thing ain't right. Ain't nothing about this right. There's no accountability being taken. There's no responsibility being taken. It's very rude and aggressive, but you want to make money. How you gonna make money if you're not giving us license? And you literally fail people for not putting hair on the floor? Are you? Come on. And then the guideline she says, if you fail more than 2 parts, you got to retake the whole thing. Whose decision was that? Shouldn't it be if you fail more than 5 parts, you got to retake the whole thing? Because if there's 20 parts, failing 2 is only 80%. And you got to make a 70% in order to pass. So you could at least say failing 4 to 5 parts to get a halfway mark. Because clearly we know what we're doing. You're not factoring in maybe the level of nervousness. The fact that we did 15 different services in one specific time, that's not even applicable to an actual day in the shop. We did a cut, shave, like it was a 4-hour process. There was no breaks in between. That's not even in reality of how these things are going to be cooperating or operating in the actual shop. You're putting unrealistic expectations on us and then finding us for not being able to uphold those unrealistic expectations that none of y'all can't do. Most of the people that are not even barbers or licensed cosmetologists. That's the part that's crazy to me. Like, y'all are really governing something that you don't even have experience in and holding it to such a high standard. That's hypocritical. That is very, very hypocritical of you. And now you don't want to be accountable for that. That's a bunch of BS. Now, please be clear, when I was explaining all of this to them, I was very calm. I was very professional. There was no emotional fluctuation in my voice, but I was very stern because I need you to understand that I'm not no idiot. I'm well aware of how business is supposed to be handled, and this is not it. There needs to be a level of accountability. Y'all need to have a meeting with that. I wish I knew that lady's name. Listen, it wasn't three of them. It was a Caucasian lady with blonde hair. It was a brown-skinned lady with brown hair and a streak of blonde down the side, and it was a Caucasian heavy-set man. The brown-skinned lady and the Caucasian heavy-set man, I rock with y'all. Y'all good people. I saw y'all trying to help us out, trying to talk some sense into that lady. But that other lady, y'all gonna have to get rid of her, because here's the thing. She may be making you money now by having people to come retest, but you're not gonna have any licensed people to then make money off of the annual money we're supposed to send you anyway. So she may be making y'all money on the front end, but on the back end, you're not gonna have, there's not gonna be anyone to get the money from. So you may want to talk to her. And you also may want to revisit the guidelines by which failure is a failure, and the department that is responsible for properly communicating. Just, it was on the website. How was I supposed to know that? We sent it to the school. Ma'am, I ain't been in school in over a year now. And then another thing is, one of the instructors said, well, ma'am, since these two students were the only students that knew that, she said, well, when did y'all finish school? He said, last month. I said, ma'am, I've been out of school a whole year. She was like, well, that makes sense why they didn't know. So y'all couldn't just let us go ahead and do what we failed? Because that would make sense, right? That's a middle ground to meet on. It ain't like you losing anything. You're literally taking more time from you by making us go through a 4-hour process when it was only 2 items that needed to be done. And then you're saying, well, we're short-staffed. I bet you are. You're front-loading work to then complain about being short-staffed in the back. If you want to complain, you can call me just to complain. Don't do it like that, though, because you're inconveniencing people's lives. You're being very discouraging to people's pursuit in their careers, and it's very evil and demonic. It's given I'm not happy at home. It's given I'm not satisfied with how my life turned out, so I want to make other people's life miserable. It's given, y'all see what it's given. Come on. Like, these people don't deserve that. Just the level of discouragement that was in the eyes, and it's in my mind too. I just have the necessary oomph to speak on it. But it's one of them things where, like, if you making it this hard, like, why are you making it this hard? Like, what is your end goal for this? It has to be money, or is it power? Because nothing else makes sense. It just don't make sense. The entire staff was fully convinced that we only had to do the 2 things we failed. And you are the only person that's upholding that particular outcome. Help me understand, lady. Ma'am, the lady, I said, who was over her? She said, Tate Reeves. Who's between this lady and Tate? It was some director, some ambulance, bail somebody. Then you had to wash somebody. It's a lot going on. And I just feel like nobody's been accountable for what's happening here. But you want me to come back in March and just act like, it's cool. This is an upstanding professional environment I want to be in. It's not giving professional at all. It's not giving professional. I digress. But help me. I need this to get up there to them. Like, I need this video to get all the way up. Tag Reed. Let me tag. Yeah, I need y'all to send this to the National Barber Board. I already got them tagged, but I need y'all to share this and send this and comment. I need this to get traction, because somebody gonna have to be accountable. Tate Reeves. Is it like Aaron Tate, Tate? R-E? I got you. Because this is not right. This is not, no. And I'm not the type of person just sit around and complain, so I got to speak on it. Somebody got to hear this. Share this for me, y'all. Just you ain't gotta put no caption on. Just share it. And it's not you. It's not you saying it. It's me. They gonna come for me, and I'm fine with that. But I need somebody to call me. I don't left voicemails. I need somebody to talk to me. Come. Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation. I'm all for a conversation. try to be encouraging, but you're the one that's discouraging. That's another part that don't sit well with me. Well, you came this far, you can do it. Don't encourage me if you're the one with your foot on my neck. You see what I'm saying? I'm not slow. Don't play me like I'm slow. Don't do that. I'm not one of them. Do that over there. I'm definitely not one of them. Did you tag him? Y'all tag Reed. Tag the National Barber Board. Share this. Like, comment, cry, put a laughing emoji, put a dot, something. I need this to go up the chain. Because y'all ain't letting me talk to the right people. Is they trying to get it, girl? I need some understanding. I need some understanding. And I, like I said, I could see if it was just a my school thing. No one else knew that either. No one else knew that. I digress.